Hello and welcome back. So this is an apple head doll. Her head is an apple. So very recently I was scrolling the internet, looking at various dolls, when I happened upon an apple head doll. And it kind of jarred my memory a little bit. I remember my mother making these when I was a little girl, or at least one. So I asked her if she had made one before. And she said yes, but it did not turn out very well. And I told her I was going to make one, and she said, "That's a good idea." She said, "Be careful because the mice will get them." I thought this would be a great idea because apples are the fruit of the witches. And I think that these would be great healing dolls because of this apple aspect. You know, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I actually did this video already when I made her. And my micro disc became corrupt. And I lost all my footage. So you need an apple, and it can be really any size apple. I want you to keep in mind that your apple is going to shrink to half the size that it is. So this is a really small apple. So this will give you kind of an idea. And he's not all the way dried out yet. So the first thing you want to do is you want to peel your apple completely. This is actually my daughter's Athame. And it's Damascus steel. It's really a nice, she'd probably cringe right if she knew I was doing this. So you're going to peel the entire apple. So the next thing you want to do is kind of make a better surface. You're going to carve the face, and you're going to do the eyes. Really, you can do whatever you want. I just do eyes, nose, mouth, and maybe a few lines. I start out with the eyes. This is just, you know, Apple Doll 101. So I start out by making the little outline. And then I just kind of pop it out. So then you do the other one and just kind of pop. When I read the instructions on how to do it, it said, when you're carving the face, don't go too deep and don't go too shallow. Well, let me tell you, it's sound advice, because even if it's a little bit vague. My whittling's getting better and better, I'm telling you. I'm going to be whittling wooden animals by the end of summer. Keep this up. If you don't straighten the face out at least a little bit, then the thing about these dolls right here is if you have any kind of sculpting talent, These apple heads can look very much like a real person that you know. If you know how to form the face right and the eyes to look like that person, these could be a very powerful tool. I can see that very clearly. So this is what I came up with so far. And I'm gonna stop there. Now, this next part that you're gonna see is very important. And this is where the preservation of your apple head is going to take place. You're gonna take some lemon juice, and it can be the store-bought kind. Get in the little jar, the little bottle, or it can be a fresh lemon, and you're gonna squeeze some into, or pour some into a bowl. They smell so good. I love lemons. I always have lemons. These are great for your garbage disposal to keep it fresh. Now you're going to put your apple into the lemon juice for about 2 minutes. And you're gonna do it on, make sure you get the whole guy. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna sprinkle it with salt. And I just kind of throw him in there until I get to the oven. Now traditionally, they would take a wire coat hanger and they would put it up through the core and basically hang it to dry for a couple of weeks. Well, the apple head originated when the colonists saw the dolls that the Iroquois and or Seneca people had made. The apple head comes from the indigenous people of America. And when the colonists saw these awesome little apple head dolls, they started making them as well. I placed mine in the oven at 170, put it on the lowest temperature, and it'll probably take a couple of days to get it completely dried out. Now you want to keep an eye on this. There's no exact timing because the timing is always going to vary according to where you live. If it's very humid, very dry, hot, cold, so on and so forth, you just have to pay attention to it. You're going to put him in the oven and make sure that he sits up. If he can't sit up, then cut a flat off the bottom so that he can sit upright. And put him in the oven on the lowest temperature for a day, day and a half, maybe 2 days, depending on the humidity and weather in your area. So, after it's completely done drying, you are going to take your apple head and you're going to paint his face. And you don't even have to do anything as elaborate as this. In the instructions it said to press 2 seeds into the hollows before you dry it. I've done both before and after, and it doesn't really matter. If you do it after, you just have to use a little bit of glue, and it's really no big deal. So now we have to have a tag lock for the person that our spell is going to be for. And I have a nail clipping here. It's not a real nail clipping, it's a fake nail that I found in the store just now. You're going to make a hole somewhere where it's not going to be seen. So I put mine in the back of the head, right here. And this way you can put in the tag lock And then you can put in herbs according to your workings. Now I have salt right here, so I'm going to put in salt. If you were doing a healing spell, you would put in healing herbs. And you may want to put, you know, I have a hat that's going to go over it that I made. So it's not the salt and the taglocks not going to come out. But if I didn't have that, I might have needed to put just a little bit of glue. Another place you can put herbs is in the clothes, wrap it up in the clothes. We have to make the body for the doll. I made mine using some welding wire. This up here at the top is going to insert into the head. So you may need to cut it back a little bit. You're definitely going to need some wire clippers. So if you don't have any kind of crafting wire, would work great. This is 2 or 3 times I bent it in half and went back around. You can kind of see. And what I did was I made the legs first and just curved it over like this. Then I made the body and the head, and then I attached the arms. And I'm going to put little hands, clay hands on there, so I made the little paddle looking thing. So the next thing you need to do is you're going to stuff your doll. Now this is whenever you can add some more herbs. I'm using cheesecloth. You can use old rags, you can use old towels, old sheets, anything. You can use tape or glue or even like rubber bands to keep this tied. It can be as thick or thin as you want it to be.
What's a man got to do to get a woman like you? What's a man got to do to touch a woman like you? What's a man got to do to get a woman like you? If I
So now we have the beginning of our man.
If I have to plead, or if I have to fight, or if I have to bleed, if I tell a lie, or if I speak the truth.
So if I were making a Poppet right now, I would take and, let's say he has stomach ailments. I would take some of my herbs, which I'll take a black-eyed Susan. So I would take a black-eyed Susan and I would put it right here. And I would wrap it up in there. I love the smell of these black-eyed Susans. They remind me. The whole field, when these things start blooming, when these black-eyed Susans start blooming, the whole field will smell like black-eyed Susans. And that goes for a lot of things like the camphor weed, lemon bee balm. So you see, you're just forming a body basically. That's all you're doing. You're making his body. And this is, you know, the bones and the stuffing and everything all together.
Or if I had to bleed, if I tell.
And you can adjust how big or small he is by how tight you pull it.
Tell me, baby, what's a man got to do to meet a woman like you?
And I don't really have any set way that I do this. Every new doll I make, I do it different. So I just kind of go with the flow of the feel of it and how it looks, and that's how I judge.
You see, a man like me is gonna make you feel good, make your legs start to shake when I pop your hood. I give you all my money, I give you all my honey. So what's your man got to do?
So he really won't stand up on his own, even with the tape on the bottom. I tried to put him popsicle sticks as reinforcement, but it won't work. So I'm just gonna have to prop him up. The cheesecloth just started shredding. Probably because the way I cut it, I don't know. But I had to put tape all around it to keep it from just, it was just shredding apart into pieces. So I do like the tape, which I've never used, for the hands and feet. So I just kind of put it on the area and just kind of wrapped it around. Something to this effect. And now he has a hand. Maybe not the most perfect hand. I mean, I still put clay on it if it doesn't. So, let's see how I can get this. One more hand. So now he needs clothes. And I don't have any doll clothes, so I have to make my own clothes. I made her dress. So I'm going to make his. And I'm going to tell y'all a secret. I do not like to sew. I sew only when I have to, or when I need to. So, you maybe wouldn't know it, but this whole outfit is not sewn, but it is glued. So lazy. I can't help it. I'd never, and you know, I'm not very good at it, to be honest. My mother is, oh my gosh, she's a great seamstress. My daughter's great. I can do it. I just don't want to. So, that being said, Mr. here is going to have some glued clothes. And these are actually his pajamas. He's in his nightcap in his pajamas. So, and it's easy to take away, but it's not easy to add. So, I always try to make them bigger and go from there. I can't believe I let y'all know that. That's been my secret for a long time. But I do sew. I do sew sometimes. Like I will sew a poppet if I'm not going to glue a poppet together. That's just out of line. And I used to, I had learned many years ago that you had to sew your Poppet in one long string. No breaks, nothing. Just sew, 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 sew the whole entire thing. Needless to say, I didn't make too many Poppets at first. But I did it. If there is a will, there is a way. That's true. So this. There's that. And we're gonna go. We'll get the basic shape and then we'll fine tune it with the glue. So I have the basic shape of his pajamas. And clearly it's too big at this point, but that's okay because so when you make your Poppet, you're going to make it to look like the person that you are doing the spell on. So you're going to make it have the same color eyes, hair. If your person has freckles, your Poppet has freckles, and so on and so forth. You're going to be amazed at how well this works, actually. Sometimes you have to work a little bit fast if the glue is drying fast and it's hot. Now, the inseam. So we have to turn it right side now. I think it's going to fit him well, but we'll see for sure. Yeah. We're going to have to cut this off about, let's make sure we get it all the way on first. The arm should be easier to do. This is the arm that we did, okay. Okay. So, let's get this up here like this, and so here he is finished. I fixed his pajamas and I put bunny slippers on him. And then my glue gun broke. Oh, I fixed his nose too. I put a little bump on it. And that's it. Now you have your apple head Poppet. and he has herbs and a taglock loaded in his head. He has herbs in his body, healing herbs, and now you have to name him and program him with your commands. And that's it. I think these are really cool, and I think they make a great couple. Thank you for watching my video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.